no-win situation. You're sitting there in heat exceeding 100 degrees, trapped on an aircraft for nearly 4 hours.
That was the situation for a Delta flight that was supposed to go from Las Vegas to Atlanta. It was canceled after multiple passengers got sick from that heat before it ever left the airport. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Snyder.
And I'm Marie Mortera. According to sources, they waited nearly 3 hours for takeoff. By the time oxygen was administered, others wheeled off by paramedics. News 3's Katie Munch is on the story for us tonight.
Yeah, and experts tell me that since the plane hadn't taken off yet, it's likely that there was little to no AC. But Delta has issued apologies to its customers. However, many say that the treatment was unacceptable.
Triple-digit temperatures filled a Delta airline cabin quicker than the flight could take off from a Las Vegas tarmac for Atlanta on Monday.
They were in a very long queue. Well, the air conditioning system was not working really well. And now the temperature at the time ranged from 111 to 114 degrees. And here you are inside a metal tube.
Aviation expert Reed Yadon says at least 5 passengers passed out and others soiled themselves, forcing flight attendants to administer oxygen.
The failure was on Delta's part. I firmly believe that. I think they should have been more proactive, worrying about the passengers instead of telling them if you can get off, it's going to take you days to get where you're going.
Yadon says paramedics used stretchers to wheel passengers and at least one flight attendant off the plane, ultimately grounding the flight until Tuesday morning. BJ Nemeth, one of the passengers who didn't mention getting sick, tweeted that the airline provided him and other passengers with a free hotel room for the night, airport food vouchers, and a $1,500 voucher for a future Delta flight as compensation. According to the Department of Transportation's website, airlines must return planes to the gate and let passengers off any time a flight is sitting on the tarmac for more than 3 hours. But is there a policy related to the heat? Yadon says no.
It's been hot there for days, and you would think somebody would have raised the question, okay, how long are we going to let a flight sit on the tarmac? I agree with you. I think that's a valid question.
And Delta issued a statement that reads, in part, Delta teams are looking into the circumstances that led to the uncomfortable temperatures inside the cabin, and we appreciate the efforts of our people and first responders at Harry Reid International Airport. Now, I asked experts, what should passengers do if they find themselves in this situation in the future, Jim Marie? This expert told me that they should use their cell phones to call for help.
Meetup with CCSD Superintendent Dr. Jesus Jara has been canceled for now. This comes after yesterday's Java with Jara event with members of the teachers union protesting outside. In a statement, the district says today's cancellation is because of what they call bullying tactics from the teachers union.
Jara has a failing grade, send him back to Miami-Dade. Jara has a failing grade, send him back to Miami-Dade. Jara has a failing grade, send him back to Miami-Dade.
So that was the scene outside of a coffee shop in Summerlin yesterday. The district says the owner of the business of tonight's event asked to not host any more out of concerns that scenes like this one will interrupt their business operations. Joining us now is Jessica Jones, the secretary of the executive board of the teachers union, also a CCSD teacher, as well as a lead organizer for that demonstration you just saw. Jessica, thanks for being here. So you were out there tonight. What was the message this evening?
The message tonight was that educators are tired. We're tired of being ignored. We're tired of being disrespected.
And what was the turnout like tonight? Was it similar to what we saw on Tuesday?
Yes, it was. Even though the district had sent out notice about an hour before that they were going to not meet tonight, we still had a very good turnout tonight.
So one thing that's top of mind here, we are just a couple of weeks away from the first day of class. What do you want families to know?
What I want families to know is that we have a real crisis here in the Clark County School District. Right now, we're sitting on about 2,000 teacher vacancies. That's about 35,000 children that are going to go into this school year without a licensed educator in the classroom. And instead of the district and the school board meeting to discuss how to solve these problems, they are having coffee.
They're having coffee, and the district did say this is what they see as a community conversation. Were you surprised about tonight's cancellation?
No, I'm not surprised because this is pretty on par for the district. Whenever we want to negotiate or have them meet with us, they just don't show up. They don't meet us at the table.
Well, it looks like there will be more negotiations. From our reporting, we've learned that there are 2 more sessions expected at the end of the month and also a meeting between union members on the 29th. What's your feeling about those talks?
We're always hopeful that we'll be able to make some ground, but right now we have a huge iceberg between what we're asking for and what the district is proposing. If the district fails to meet with us to negotiate on these 2 upcoming dates, then our members are going to make a decision July 29th.
All right, so Jessica Jones there with the CCEA. Thank you so much for your time. The conversation continues, and we'll look for an update by the end of the month. Now, we did reach out to CCSD for a live interview here at 7. We have yet to hear back. We also asked Dr. Jara yesterday to respond to the ongoing negotiation dispute.
There is a place through the courts and through the laws and through our collective bargaining that's where you bargain. You don't bargain out and in the public. That's just not good practice, and it's bad faith, to be quite candid with you. As far as I am committed, I am the superintendent, and I'll be here at least for now until June 2026.
Caring for the entire employee body and mind. That's what the Las Vegas Raiders are doing as they address mental health head on. Today, partnering with the Avery Burton Foundation to help give employees the tools they need to cope with stress and anxiety. News 3 City's Rosh has the story behind the movement.
The Avery Burton Foundation is named after a local man who lost his struggle with depression, committing suicide at just 22 years old. Now his family is determined to help others avoid their pain, even meeting with organizations where being tough is more than skin deep.
Times are changing in a good way, right? You know, all the statistics out there related to mental health that is problematic.
Amir Zafa knows they are conversations that are needed. His employer, the Las Vegas Raiders, flipping the script when it comes to addressing mental health, proving strength comes from within as well.
The Raiders have been game changers in sports and obviously in the NFL as a whole. And, we look to continue to do those sorts of things because, again, this matters.
Wednesday morning, employees gathered to talk about some very heavy topics with members of the Avery Burton Foundation, a nonprofit that promotes awareness and education when it comes to mental health. Founder Reggie Burton lost his eldest son Avery to suicide 6 years ago.
From the outside looking in, he was ready to achieve his goals until he wasn't.
Burton says his son had just graduated with honors from UNLV, planning for a career in medicine when he suffered a major depressive episode. Now Burton is committed to offering outreach and mental health first aid tips to families, schools, and businesses.
It's stigma. The stigma around mental health is something that we all need to work to end. And I think the more that organizations, companies like the Raiders take the lead in opening up these conversations and centering mental health and wellness, the better we'll all be.
As part of Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, the foundation is also highlighting a shortage of culturally competent therapists. Christina Alden says when it comes to counseling, there is no one-size-fits-all approach, and a patient's background matters. Her goal is to give people tools to bridge the gap until they can speak to a professional. And step 1 is breathe.
Once we make the decision to breathe, it's telling our nervous system that we're willing to calm down. That's the magic of that moment. As well, if we can exhale for 90 seconds slowly, it changes the biochemistry. And so that also helps our nervous system calm down.
The foundation is also hoping at least one NFL player will wear its message on this season's cleats.
And then Avery had a quote, which is, "I don't have weekdays in my calendar, only strong days."
Something the league allows in its campaign, My Cause, My Cleats, giving players a chance to personally highlight nonprofits they support. As for his work helping others, Burton knows his son would approve.
I know he would be super proud. I think this is something that it would be consistent with his personality, with his desire to help others through being a doctor of therapy, right? So we're getting a chance to do that for him.
Now, to learn more about the foundation, we do have a link on our website. Just head over to news3lv.com. But if you or someone you know is having suicidal thoughts and needs immediate help, the hotline to call is 988.
Just click below and subscribe to News 3. You'll get more stories that affect your community.